a year ago, we debuted our show Popcorn Theory, which is what you're watching today. Now, we had some fun with that. We don't look anything close to what that show looked like, not even in the way we display those videos. And we talked about 3 possible killers behind the mask in Scream 5. Now, were we right? Yeah, but it was a theory video. Were we close? Possibly, because we've seen some little nuggets of information come up along the way that kind of suggests that, hey, maybe. The Randy one, yeah, we were swinging for the fences with that one.
That wasn't my theory, though, and to be fair.
You know what? Just last week, somebody released the theory that Randy is the killer in Scream 6.
Okay, but...
Not the only ones that think it.
Not the only one, because I didn't think it. And Jamie Kennedy himself said, no, Randy's dead. It wouldn't make sense if he were still alive. And he wouldn't want to be. So, it's not him. Sorry.
For this theory, we will recap Stu being alive with new clues that were set up in the last film, the trailer, social commentary, and some new statistics supporting whether or not he is alive or dead. Thank you for joining us for this theory, and as always, we will leave it to you to decide. Now, as we mentioned, we were not right about Stu being in Scream 5, but is he still alive? Let's recap the details from that pilot episode of Popcorn Theory, and then we'll dive into some of the new details.
Between the years 2000 and 2015, 11,000 TVs fall on people annually. That is around 176,000 TVs. I don't know what these people are doing. 90% of TVs falling on people were CRT or tube televisions. Only one person in Stu's age range died from their injuries. This evidence shows that Stu could have survived a TV falling on him.
Got into an interesting discussion with one of our subscribers, Corey, and that got me to thinking. He's like, all right, you sold me on the TV not killing him, but he could have been electrocuted. So, now that got me to thinking, could the TV have electrocuted him? So in order to determine that, we have to figure out a few things. The TV size, the volts that are contained in the TV, and was it possible that it could have electrocuted him? We were never told what the size of the TV was in Scream, so the last time around, I kind of guesstimated it at around a 32-inch size TV.
No, I have seen how well that's worked for you in real life.
What? You know, you use your feet to measure things.
No, he did that all wrong.
Let's figure out the size of the TV by deducing it through what we have available to us in some of the scenes. That being the VHS tapes that are on top of the TV.
VHS tapes are 7 3/8 by 4 1/16 inches. And if they are in a plastic case like what you got from Blockbuster Video, they are 8 by 4 11/16 inches. If we use it as a unit of measure across the top of the TV, the width of the TV in Stu's home is between 22 and 24 inches wide.
Now let's look at those TV specs. And yes, they're still out there on the internet.
We found the specs for a 32-inch Toshiba television. The width of this TV is 25.9 inches, which can vary by make and model.
This confirms our TV to be 32 inches.
Or around.
Well, you have to figure the model sizes. There wasn't a 30 or 31, so it's a 32. Yeah. So you have a little bit of an edge around the tube of the TV, so that's what would make it 32.
Next, we need to see what the volts are.
I'm not an electrician. I do not claim to be one. If any of our subscribers are, feel free to weigh in the comments on what you think about this. But I searched a lot of different websites, and a lot of it ended up being just people's opinions from their trade that they work with. I looked at OSHA, I looked at the Electrical Safety Foundation International, the National Library of Medicine, WebMD. I went everywhere looking for information around getting electrocuted by a TV or by voltage to see if he could have died. So from that, we were able to determine this.
A person who is shocked by 120 volts may feel a slight tingling sensation, muscle spasms, or even death. The impact of the shock is determined by ohms, which is the amount of resistance in a person's skin.
Several variables come into play here. This includes the moisture that is in a person's skin, the location of where they're getting shocked, and the type of clothing that they're wearing, etc., etc. So all of those factors play in together to determine the ohms in the electricity flowing through somebody's body.
Yeah, and the length of time. And if you really think about it, it wasn't very long with Stu. It was very quick. So that gives me hope. ESFI, the Electrical Safety Foundation International, identified that between 2011 and 2020, the average time frame a person was out of work due to a shock of 220 volts or less was 4.4 days.
There are no stats out there around the fatality rate, around being electrocuted by 120 volts to 220 volts.
Well, I think some of that could have the fact that when we did look at the stats, most people didn't die. So they probably wouldn't have a lot of stats.
This is true. And then you would have to imagine how many people got reported with that.
Exactly.
So for this component of our theory, we're going to have to rule it as inconclusive. Can't say whether or not he survived or died because there are too many variables that we cannot put into play here. Now, there are new clues inside and outside of the Scream universe that kind of say that he may be alive. So, the one that we're going to talk about first is Dewey referring to Stu in the present tense.
That douche nozzle is connected. I googled him. His mom is Leslie Macher. Stu Macher's sister.
Who's Stu Macher? Oh my god.
He's Billy Loomis's accomplice, a real Looney Tune.
Yes, he did.
And if you missed it...
Oh my god.
He's Billy Loomis's accomplice, a real Looney Tune.
This is something that was confirmed by David Arquette at Monster Mania last year during a Q&A.
At one point I was like, hold up. Wait! Yes! Stu is still alive. He's in a mental hospital. I do say in the last Scream, he's a real lunatic.
Wait, is that compliment?
Clues in the Scream universe prior to part 6 seem to support him being alive.
We also have the cracked and aged Ghostface mask that has become a red herring in itself. In the photos and trailers released at the time of this recording, Williams with a photo of a mask on his desk in the police station,
Sam holding an aged mask,
the Ghostface shrine being discovered, which is likely to have another aged mask.
There may be more than one aged mask in the movie. And one of those could be worn by Stu, which is why we hear him tell Gail.
It never works out for the dipshit in the mask.
Maybe. But there's never been one like me, Gail.
Whether it's a victim surviving or it's a killer surviving, or possibly a daughter.
Yeah, I mean, we could be wrong. Maybe again it's not Stu, but there's definitely something familiar about it because it's definitely someone who's been there before.
Exactly. Now, the Scream 6 clues are also inconclusive to Stu being alive, so can't say yes or no with that one. Finally, let's take a look outside of the Scream universe and with Kevin Williamson and what he recently has come out and said.
No, he's dead. I think that started because of the college scene, the frat party scene, because he's standing in the background. He just came to visit set that night, but we all know that's not the complete truth.
Yeah, but you know, he didn't go to the set as planned. He only went there to see Nev.
Yeah, no, but there was a plan.
Yes, there was a plan. So as much as Kevin Williamson wants to come out and say, and everyone wants to jump on the bandwagon, it's like, well, he said it. He's the writer. He's dead. He wrote part 3 with Stu being alive. And the only reason why that did not come to fruition, it was because of what happened in Columbine.
4 minutes and she only has one last question. What do you think about the news of Scream 4 being made?
I think it's good. You know, it's funny. I was talking to Nev. I was in London recently. I was talking to Nev. I was like, tell Williamson I'll come back. I'd love to come back.
You got killed.
Well, the funny thing is,
right?
I was supposed to come back for the third one. Nobody knows this, but the third one. Breaking news. Big deal here on Bob's podcast. The third one, they had written in me to be the killer in the third one.
Now, how is that going to be justified? Because you were
killed. I only took a TV on the head.
What?
I took a TV on
Is that what it was?
That's how I died.
So
the
theoretically,
idea was
you could have been
from jail. I was masterminding this kind of this attack against Sydney, Nev's character, and so 3 weeks before we were supposed to start shooting, Columbine High School broke out, and they changed everything. They kind of took the script and threw it to the side, and they bought me out, and I never did the third one.
So Stu is alive in the writer's mind, and it only seems to me like he's coming out to say this because what did we see with Spider-Man No Way Home?
Exactly. When everyone was like, oh my God, Toby and Andrew are coming back. And they're like, nope, definitely not happening at all. And then what happened? That's the way it was. And so it seems awfully strange that all of a sudden after 27 years, Kevin Williamson would be like, nope, he's definitely dead. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts, he's dead. And then saying, well, he just came to set that night. That's true. He did just come that night to visit Nev because I believe they were dating or something at the time. But he was supposed to be the killer in Scream 3. And people know this because Matthew Lillard was on a podcast and he told everyone. So, Kevin, you didn't keep that part a secret.
Yes. And also, in the past, in multiple interviews where Stu's being alive was always questioned, he always deflected it to Randy. He's always like, well, the biggest thing I always get is, Randy. If I knew the series would have lived on, I would have kept Randy alive, right?
Yeah.
He's never, in the past, said Stu's dead.
No.
Or Stu's alive.
No. But now all of a sudden, because people are like, oh, wait a second, like, you brought Kirby back and then we think Stu could be doing this. It's like, nope, Stu's definitely dead. Like, why would he even have to say Stu is definitely dead? Couldn't he just be like, he's not in it? Like, or could he just not say anything at all? Like, why does he have to say anything? It always feels like to me when they go that extra mile to deflect, that there is definitely a reason for it.
Yes. And it's those little teasers that make everybody talk.
Yeah.
And excited.
Yes.
And if we've learned with Spider-Man and even Terrifier 2, YouTube, the word of mouth, and people talking about these things is what really gets people excited for it and makes them go out and see it.
Yes, exactly.
And I don't want to beat the Spider-Man thing to death, but remember, Andrew Garfield said multiple occasions, don't go to the movie expecting me because you're going to be disappointed. He said it on so many interviews where it's like, you're not going to see me. I'm telling you because I don't want you to be unhappy when you see it.
Yeah, exactly. And then everyone, there was like a standing ovation in the theater we went to because guess what? They were in the movie.
It's just great marketing.
And the Stu theories have only been added to with the official Scream subway line poster. Kirby Reed stopped being the only one on the map that is closed. Sam Carpenter's name being noticeably larger than the others. The remaining names refer to Scream's deceased characters such as Billy Loomis, Tatum Riley, Dwight Dewey Riley, and Casey Becker, all of whom have their own stop.
Then there's Stu's stop, which is not only a different color, but it is the same color of the X of Kirby Reed's stop. Now, many may wonder, how is this going to work without Sidney? Or even if it makes any sense to bring him back without Sidney being in this movie. I do not see the cult theory working anymore. I think it's been talked about so many years now. To have him come back being a leader of a cult, I think it's just like, that's lazy writing.
Yeah.
So I think what they're going to do, if we get a cult, it'll be something a little bit different. And I think Stu will be operating outside of the cult.
Yeah. Now remember, his nephew Vince was killed by his own creation, Ghostface, in Scream 5.
Yes. And Stu's return could be from a different perspective. He could be returning to end what he started, or he has reformed and he is working alongside of the cops to help track down the copycats.
in all honesty, Stu wasn't the one who started this. He was the lackey, right? He was the good little sidekick who just went along with Billy Loomis.
Another option is that Sam is Billy's daughter. So this can play out in a few ways here.
Stu could blame Sam for his nephew's death. Stu could reveal that he was in love with Billy and he resents Sam. Or he could be trying to coax Sam to the dark side to complete his and Billy's legacy in Scream 7, killing Sidney.
That kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah.
It's a loose end in his life. He set out to do something, didn't get it done, and then he learns about Sam being out there, and it's like, oh,
yeah,
it's time to finish it off. End it once and for all.
Yeah, and I mean, remember, Dewey referred to him as a...
Oh my God.
He's Billy Loomis's accomplice, a real Looney Tune.
So he was, you know, he was crazy. He was nuts. So maybe this is something that has just like been weighing on him for the past 20 plus years and he can't let it go. And he just really wants Sid dead. And he also feels like Sam could be the way to get there because she's Billy's daughter.
And as we mentioned in our recent Popcorn Theory video, this is why we can be seeing the whole movie play out. Stu can be revealing all the dirt on why Billy did what he did.
There is still some good story to be told here, and while everyone wants to say that this is a new beginning, there is the official Christmas Scream poster with wrongfully accused up in lights on the marquee.
This points Scream 6 back to the beginning, and it's possibly going to be with a big reveal either in the middle or the end of this movie. So what do you think? Do you think this theory is a little close? Honestly, whether they bring Stu back into 6 or 7 or not, I honestly don't think he's dead.
No, I've never been, and it's not because I'm a huge Stu fan or Matthew Lillard fan. Yes, that helps the whole theory, but I have just never thought he was dead, right? I've said this many times. My cousin had a TV fall on her when she was 4. She did get a little bit of an electrocution. She did not die. She's perfectly fine. So I just never bought the whole he died from that theory, right? He was a bigger guy, like not like big this way, but he was tall and he was young and, you know, healthy. So I just never bought into the fact that he died.
If you don't see Stu in this movie or 7, I think we're all just going to have to leave this one as we'll never have a true answer.
Yeah, it'll just be undetermined, I guess.
It will live on in fan theories throughout the history of or the future of Scream going forward.
And listen, we're not the only ones like on the Stu train, so to speak. There are a lot of other YouTubers and podcasters out there that really are on this side of the line with us, believing that Stu did not die. And they've been there since 1996, and we have. Since 1996, we have not ever thought that Stu was dead.
Yeah, if you really think about all of the other killers were shot in the head.
Yeah.
Or in the chest.
Yeah, because they always come back.
Or stabbed to death.
You know.
Anyway, speaking of Matthew Lillard, guess what? It is the quest for 5,000 subscribers, and he signed this box of cereal here.
Yes.
Along with
David Arquette.
Yeah, you want to know how you can win that? Well, you can help us get to 5,000 subscribers, and you can do that by
liking, subscribing, and sharing.
Yes. Along that journey, every video that gets 25 likes and 25 comments, up into 100 comments and 100 likes, you'll win a prize. So that's 25, 50, and 75. We'll send you out some movie theater swag, and then at 100, we'll send out a movie theater one sheet poster. Now, hopefully, when Scream comes out, if we have not sent out the prizes yet and they have released some cool Scream swag, that will be what we are sending out.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably have some new stuff to go along with it. We typically see the Scream movies more than once in multiple theaters, so they usually have different posters and things like that available, different swag available, so we grab whatever we can.
Yes. And the swag from Scream 5, stupid me at the time, I wasn't thinking about it, but I only took 1 or 2 posters and we kind of have them for ourselves, but those quickly sold for like $20 and $50 online. So we'll be swiping all the poster swag that we can and we'll share it. We just can't say that we have it down for the video since this is pre-recorded.
Yeah.
Anyway, let us know what you think of this theory. What's your thoughts? Are you on the Stu train? I know a lot of our subscribers are, and there are some that aren't. It's fine either way. Let's just have a conversation about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's all it is, right? A conversation. Everyone's got their own theories, and it's kind of fun to see what everyone's different theories
Yeah.
are.
I'll be the first to admit it. There's theories that I read in our comments just from us engaging our audience with these questions that are better than ours.
Yeah.
Anyway, until the next Popcorn Theory, see ya.
See ya.